Context is having a birthday and we're going live. On April 20th at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, join myself, Elendriel, Aerolade, and a few guests on our Twitch TV channel for a live birthday podcast from sunny Las Vegas. We'll drink yard-long vodka slushies and reminisce about the last year in video games. Thanks to you, our listeners, for making this podcast awesome, and see you in Vegas. To Cat Context Podcast, episode 23 for Wednesday, April 10th, 2013. My name is Liore. Hello! And I think we've got some fun stuff to talk about today, including two popular new games. Elendriel has been playing Trion World's new synergistic action MMO Defiance, while Arrow and I will attempt to describe with very few spoilers why Bioshock Infinite is a hell of a game. And also this week, each of us managed to watch the movie DOA, Dead or Alive, and later, I'm going to say terrible things about it. But first, let's say hi to our co-hosts. Arrow, why don't we start with you? How's it going?
I'm awesome.
Well, that's pretty good. Ellie, how's your weekend going?
It's been going well. I played the Star Wars miniature game today. It was fun.
There is such a thing?
Yeah, so it's a X-Wing, I think it's actually called X-Wing miniatures or something like that. And you get like little replica scale-sized models of X-Wings or A-Wings. There's a Millennium Falcon that just came out. It's like $25 and I kind of want to just buy it because it's awesome. My friend bought Slave 1, so we were having Boba Fett and Han Solo fight each other with a couple of TIE fighters on the side of Boba Fett.
That sounds like a pretty satisfying weekend.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, speaking of things you played, why don't we start off with you? So Defiance started up last week, and I know, Ellie, you have been playing it. Have you been watching the TV show, too?
The TV show comes out next Monday, the 15th, so no. So, for the people that don't know, Defiance is like a weird crossover thing that Trion and, who are the makers of Rift, and Sci-Fi Channel are doing. Trion's making a video game, and it's actually available on PC and Xbox 360 and PS3, although those three platforms don't talk to each other in a move that I dislike. The show takes place in post-apocalyptic St. Louis, and the game is in San Francisco Bay Area. So it's kind of like an MMO. It's kind of like a shooter. Some people have described it like Borderlands. I don't actually think it's very Borderlands-y at all. There's two races. There's humans and Arathians, who are one of the, I think, 7 alien races in the world. There's like 4 starting outfits, but they're literally just starting outfits. All of the like class differentiation is by filling out talent points, essentially. There are 4 primary skills, and one of them's like a do more damage while this thing's available. One of them's a cloak. One makes you run really fast, and the other one like sends out a decoy. And then you just start filling in points that are next to those and spreading out over the course of your tree to do various customized things. It's pretty cool.
I was going to say, I know this is being billed as an action MMO, and how is it different from, say, like Firefall and Terra, which are also action MMOs?
Yeah, so you don't really have skills. It plays very, very much like a shooter. It's clearly built for like a console. I think that the interface is pretty much a direct console port at this point, and I know that they're working to get PC things in, like being able to take screenshots. You run around and you point and shoot, and that's pretty much all there is as far as interaction and skills. You have one active skill, and then a bunch of things that are like situational modifiers. It plays exactly like a third-person shooter.
I hear it has dynamic events a la Rift.
It totally does. Yeah, so we jumped in, ran around, did a few quests, and then we saw this like big red arrow on our screen, which is apparently an Arcfall event. And I knew nothing about them, but we went charging off, following the red dot, and then there were like 100,000 hellbugs coming out of crystals in the ground and trying to kill us. There were probably, 50 people at least running around shooting the thing. Seems like the your damage scales down the more people are around. So the time limit makes sense if there's like 3 people doing it or if there's 50 people doing it, as far as I can tell.
Is the gravity still a whack? My favorite part of the beta was driving the vehicles around, because it reminded me of driving the Mako in Mass Effect 1.
Yeah, it is. If I remember, everybody hated driving the Mako.
Mako was great on console, but not on keyboard.
I can play Defiance with my controller that's plugged in, or I can play it with the mouse and keyboard, and I use the mouse and keyboard primarily. I kind of want to switch to the controller whenever I'm trying to drive. It's really hard. It's really awkward with using the keyboard, I find. But I also find I don't care because it's really fun to play.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a lot out of this game, and I personally didn't get it, but I've been hearing really good things about it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that more people start playing it that I know, although it's been fun on my own. There's a few other weird things, like you can't add friends who aren't online.
I have heard that there was a lot of technical difficulties with the launch, and they're scrambling pretty hard to put stuff back together properly.
Maybe. I didn't really experience any. I logged on early. The servers went up early before the launch day. I could log on and run around and do stuff, and I didn't notice even any lag or anything like that. It does feel like it could have used another month or 2, but they have the TV release date in a week and a half, so they kind of had to be out a couple weeks before that. Since one of the cool things is that the characters that are in the TV show have already showed up in the game.
Oh, that's cool. So it's tying it together right away.
Yeah, so I didn't really realize that. That was one of the cool things about having seen a Defiance commercial after having played. They're in like the opening cutscene with you, and then there are types of missions called episode missions, maybe? It's those same 2 people that showed up. And then I saw the trailer again, and I was like, I know those people!
Who do you think the good audience is for this game? I mean, is it going to be sci-fi people? Because it's mostly PvE, right? It's not PvP?
No idea.
All right.
I think there are PvP situations. I think there's like some sort of deathmatch or arena. I don't know who the target audience is. I'm hoping it picks up after the show goes, and that the show is cheesy sci-fi enough for people to enjoy it, if not good. I've actually heard good things about the show. The Penny Arcade Report guys got to see the first episode, and they said lots of good things about it.
Well, I have to say, hearing you talk about it, it's put it on my radar anyway.
Yeah, for me, it totally fills that role of game where I have half an hour to play, and I just want to run around and shoot stuff that I haven't had for a while. It's not playing like a real MMO for me at the moment, and I don't know if there's any big group raid content or end game stuff. I have literally no idea, but I don't care.
I would think with the whole concept with the synergy with the TV show, the story will keep evolving, which could be kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. If nothing else, I want that. I want to support that, which is why I pre-ordered the game and bought it and played it at the beginning.
Well, nice. It sounds like you've been enjoying it.
I have. I'm sure I'll have more to say about it in the future. I think it's important for everybody to go watch it. You guys should watch the TV show anyway. Do it. Do it. You know you like cheesy sci-fi. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's as good as Stargate 1 or SG-1. Stargate's awesome.
Okay,
Can't be worse
I
than
didn't
that.
watch Stargate either.
Oh my god.
I have no sense of fun.
It was actually... Yeah, no.
Ah. You people.
It's entirely Canadian. How could you have not watched it?
I know. I did see an ad on the side of one of our bus stops here for Defiance, so I know we do have it in Canada anyway.
Well, sci-fi.com streams them. I don't know if they region lock it, though.
Yeah, they probably do. Nice. Well, speaking of things
I'm sure
that
that'll stop you.
Look, I am a firm obeyer of intellectual property laws.
I know. We all are here at Cat Context.
Speaking of shooting people, Arrow, how's Bioshock Infinite going?
In the time between when we started talking about Bioshock and I was really excited about it and we said we were going to talk about it, and now I have played more of the game and I don't know what happened. When I say that, I mean, I don't know what happened on the back end for people creating this to think this was okay. Yeah, I can still, totally unwaveringly recommend the first half of this game, but the second actual black people show up on screen, stop. Turn it off, that's the end of the game. Putting it in the least spoilery terms possible, there are times and places where "but both sides are just as bad" is an appropriate thematic construct that tells an interesting story. Place where it is not appropriate to say "but both sides are just as bad" is when you're talking about slavery.
I totally disagree with you, but I'm not sure how I could do that without blowing spoilers. What you're talking about with sort of the reversal of fortune, let's call it, to me, that seemed perfectly thematically appropriate. And not so much of a statement about slavery as a statement about power and absolutism and that sort of thing.
I think that's what they were trying to go for, but putting that in the context of racial oppression makes me really skeeved out. Spoilers, this is really hard.
This is much more difficult than I anticipated.
I'm way more intrigued about this game than even I was before, though.
The game is beautiful. I find it plays really well. I'm really enjoying it. I don't know. I am about 3/4 of the way through, and I wholeheartedly recommend it. And Elizabeth, it's so cool to have an AI that is actually, like, sensible and helps you and you make a bond with and doesn't, like, stand there like Garrus in Mass Effect 1 and get shot in the head repeatedly. They've really done a lot with the AI. I mean, basically the game is one long escort quest.
Only she doesn't move too slow, and yeah, that is really well done. I mean, it's technically an excellent game.
So who's Elizabeth and why isn't she on the cover? All I know about the game is that there's some crazy dude on the front.
Maybe we can revisit this in a couple of weeks when more people have finished the game and we can have a big old spoiler podcast after we've all finished it, because I haven't finished it yet.
It's a really unique gaming experience. And if you are the kind of person who, thinks about games as art and what the role is with that, I'm not saying that Bioshock Infinite is necessarily, Halo's art.
It's definitely one that can be talked about.
It is, absolutely. And I think it's a game that we'll be talking about for some time, not just us here, but just people in general who love games will be talking about Bioshock Infinite for some time. Plus, there are giant robot George Washingtons who shoot rockets at you, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's on my list. I didn't buy it because I bought Defiance and God of War and Gears of War and Tomb Raider all over the last month, and I needed some time to actually play my games.
That's probably very sensible of you.
But if we pick a date when we will talk about it on the podcast, I will make a point of being able to talk about it, because I'm really, really intrigued by this conversation.
It's really hard to talk about without spoilers. I wasn't even going to buy it. I totally, I wrote the blog post a while back about how I hate the cover box. I hate their whole let's pitch it to frat boys thing. I'm like, whatever, go away, Ken Levine. And I wasn't going to do it. And then all these fantastic reviews came out within like 48 hours of it launching. And I'm like, okay, enough people tell me that this is going to be a remarkable game that we'll talk about for some time. I gotta buy it.
Do I need to play Bioshock 2 first?
I have not yet seen anything even obliquely related to Rapture. And this is 50 years beforehand? 40 years?
Yeah, no, I very much want to play this game, and I very much want you guys to be able to have that conversation, whether I am involved or not.
No, I think there's a good conversation here. It's a shame that we're going to err on the side of not getting into it. Plus, neither of us have actually finished it yet, so we'll probably be better prepared to have that conversation when we finish it.
Right, and I think Liore is probably farther than me, so it is totally possible that they could fix the things that I'm having trouble with right now, and I don't know it yet.
Yeah, or they don't, and you just have different views on it, which, knowing you guys, it seems pretty reasonably true.
I don't know what you're implying. I think that we're argumentative. No, yes, that's absolutely true. It's an interesting point, I mean, the game does take a plot twist about halfway through that makes things a lot different from they were before. And, so many people don't finish games. They say I don't know, it's 10% of people actually finish a game. It would be sort of amusing over the next few years to talk to people about Bioshock Infinite and see just how far they played it.
I would say there are probably a lot of people who don't make it past the picnic at the beginning.
That's a question for you guys. Have you ever stopped playing a game because something weird or, I don't know, hard to deal with has come up? I've stopped watching TV shows because they were dark and morbid and stuff. I don't think I've ever stopped playing a game. I think every time I've seen that in a game, I've wanted to play more.
I've stopped playing games because I've been bored. I don't know that I've ever had anything negatively affect me to that extent.
I don't think so. I stopped, I only played Cart Life for 20 minutes, but I stopped because it was stressing me out.
Well, that's kind of the point of Cart Life, though.
Well, it is. Well, I don't know. I think probably the point of Cart Life is to push through and see to the other side, but I didn't get that far.
Yeah, no, but I guess that's that sort of experience. I haven't really played that, although I have avoided games like Cart Life because people have told me that would happen. Specifically, you told me that would happen, Liore.
It is a very stressful game. This isn't a spoiler, this is a speculation, but I'm pretty sure that at the end of Bioshock Infinite, it's not going to be a happy ending. That is my bet.
Totally not, inspired by the endings of the other Bioshock games at all.
But I'd like it to be a happy ending. Adding Elizabeth was a nice touch, because previously I really didn't feel that much from my main character. I mean, you just saw his hands, it's the first person thing, he never talked, whatever. He just happened to be the way that facilitated me playing the game. And now with Elizabeth, I feel a lot more emotionally attached to the game. And I want them to be happy, but they won't. They won't. All right, well, speaking of not being happy, I watched the Dead or Alive movie last weekend.
I don't know what you're talking about. That movie is amazing.
That is one of the greatest segues I've ever heard.
Thank you. So, okay, we're going to do another segment of Games on Film where we watch terrible movies that are ostensibly based on video games and then swear a lot while we talk about them. So we talked about Super Mario Brothers last time, and blogger Jewel suggested that we watch a terrible fighting movie, and that's how somehow we ended up with DOA: Dead or Alive. It was released in 2006, directed by Corey Ewan, who also did The Transporter. It starred Jamie Presley, Holly Valance, Devon Aoki, and Eric Roberts with a majestic rat tail.
I totally didn't even see that.
It was really grand. The plot of DOA involves a shadowy invitational martial arts tournament, but things are not as they seem. And I know you guys said last time that Super Mario Brothers was the worst movie ever, but come on.
Oh, you cannot possibly say that this is worse than Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers had a cast full of people who hated themselves so much they were drunk the entire time, and a script that they were writing as they were filming.
But I hated myself and I was drunk the entire time I watched it.
But this was a movie full of people having so much fun because they knew it was a shitty movie and they were loving it.
Oh,
I hope they knew.
How can you hate it? Oh, look at Jamie Presley's face. How can you hate a deliberately shitty movie?
Because it's terrible. Oh my god, and then instead of actual scene changes, they just flash the little logo out in the screen, and I'm like, really?
Those were the best transitions ever. Can we give, just to add a little bit more background? Dead or Alive is the, well, I don't know, I guess terrible fighting franchise is an appropriate descriptor. It was actually a really fun game to play. There are reasons that people think it is terrible, and there are reasons that people think it's fun. At some point, they sort of gave up on, realism or something, and just started pouring extra marketing dollars into the fact that they had a totally sweet boob jiggle engine.
And they have had that boob jiggle engine since the very first game.
Oh, since the first game?
Yes.
Okay, I just know it was around 3 or 4 when I started paying attention.
I spend a lot of time with fighting games because I think they're hilarious and fun, and they're great for parties. The thing about DOA is that it was the first fighting game that let you block and counter instead of just, jumping straight up 2D out of the way, and you can interact with the environment.
I actually expected this movie to be entirely about volleyball, so that was somewhat of a pleasant surprise.
There was at least a 25-minute scene dedicated to volleyball.
And Jamie Presley's abs are truly the best actor in the whole movie.
And that woman is having the time of her life.
I'm pretty sure she was pretty much into that movie.
You know, Hayabusa is Ryu Hayabusa, who is the hero of Ninja Gaiden. So the two series take place in the same world with the same people.
Yeah, and we get to the end, and two things. First of all, I don't know if you guys noticed, but they clearly, whoever created their computer system actually built in a CIA alerted warning, which popped up on all the screens, which I was like, it's nice that they built in that error messaging. But, okay, so he's built in this self-destruct feature. They've alerted the CIA. There's apparently an international incident because he has built a machine that can suck the fighting power of up to 4 people at a time.
No, that's not what happened. He didn't suck their power. He just, recorded the powers, and then his sunglasses, gave him a prediction and told him what to do so that he could think faster.
The evil sunglasses were telling him what they would do based on the way they were moving.
I still don't really understand why the CIA would care.
This movie was so good. I don't even know how you can hate it. It was so bad good.
He created this machine to suck out their fighting powers and put it in sunglasses and sell it. But they had already explained earlier that there's $100 million in a bank on the island. So just screw your machine, take your $100 million out of the bank, and get the hell out of there. I don't understand.
But the $100 million totally belonged to that other girl.
The $100 million was the prize money for the tournament.
Yeah, but if you're going to make a machine to, kidnap and suck the powers out of the tournament players, you may as well just steal the money.
But up until the evil sunglasses, that is a totally bright, shiny, candy-filled fighting choreography fun fest.
I think the real technology that they had on that island was that somehow they could turn off gravity.
Yes.
Oh my god, there was some amazing stuff. So it's clear that this came out. I don't know. It came out in '96, which is way later than I thought that it came out.
2006.
2006. I'm sorry. It felt like it should have come out the year after Crouching Tiger, because it had the same sort of wire flight stunt thing, except done way worse.
I can't believe you just put DOA and Crouching Tiger in the same sentence.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can't tell me that in the opening scene where, whatever her name is, Devon Aoki's character, throws a sword across an army of people who want to kill her, and it goes perfectly straight, and she runs across their heads, then leaps off of their heads onto the sword, which sticks into the wall just in front of her, perfectly flat, and then she catapults over a cliff, throws off her royal attire, and has a wingsuit underneath, is not amazing and also inspired by Crouching Tiger.
She is an ninja princess.
That was indeed the best part of the movie. I was like, okay, ninja flying princess, we're going somewhere, and then it just never went there.
And then it never mattered again.
Also, I love the costumes in this movie. It's basically the entire movie is like a cosplay tournament. Because
yes,
all of the costumes are perfect. They're exactly lifted directly from the game, with the exception of Kasumi wearing pants. Which she doesn't in the game. It's just that top with the little flappy bits.
Yeah, it sure is. But Tina fought in jean jacket and jeans.
And she was drinking PBR on her boat. It was so great.
It was pretty awesome. I laughed the whole time.
Exactly. It's so fun.
I mean, I drank a lot of beer while I was watching it too. I was laughing the whole time.
And you're supposed to be. It's patently ridiculous, and everyone involved knows it, except Eric Roberts, who has no sense of humor.
Was he Donovan? He was Donovan.
Yes.
Yeah, he was trying way too hard.
You know you're in for a cinematic experience when Eric Roberts shows up, particularly when he shows up with, a weird accent and a rat tail.
You don't play a lot of fighting games, do you?
I don't think that would affect my enjoyment of the movie any. I watched it with someone who played the hell out of Dead or Alive. That would be Vajra. And afterwards, he looked at me and said, "Why did you make me do that?"
Oh, that's the best reaction ever. That is also exactly why you just made him do that.
There's always a plot behind the fighting game, and it is always completely ridiculous. Sometimes they're more ridiculous than others. DOA is one of those. It is totally, completely over the top. Basically, the people who made it, Team Ninja, looked at Mortal Kombat and said, "That's a great idea, but you know what would be fun? Is if we made it way, way worse." And then, so you've got people like Zack, who, in the plot of the game, Zack wins the tournament and he uses his winnings to create the volleyball tournament. That's the kind of thing you're dealing with here. And that's what they made that movie for.
All right, so we tried to do this last time with Super Mario, and we all had our different interpretation of what a scale is. But it sounds like, Arrow, you would roughly rate this as more watchable on a Friday night drunk with friends than Super Mario?
Definitely.
All right, Ellie, I think you actually gave a scale out of 10, so what would you give this?
Yeah, I was trying to say that my rating system has failed me because DOA is simultaneously worse and better than Mario Brothers, and so no, I can't put them on the same scale.
That's why I use the Friday night drunk with friends scale.
Yeah, but I would watch both of them drunk with friends.
All right, well, I insist on giving everything a numerical value because it's easier for me to chart later. So I gave Super Mario a 6, and I'm going to give this, like, a 2.
Don't do it!
A 2!
No! No!
How can you do that? How can you even?
It was so bad. I'm sorry. It was just...
Come on, Jamie Presley's abs deserve at least a 4.
That's why at least one of those stars is for her abs alone.
Can't you give another star for that shot where they frame the beach like through the legs of
the butt cheeks?
of whoever it was? Yeah, that was my favorite shot in the whole movie. Like, you see, here's an ass in a bikini.
But that really was about what I was expecting from a Dead or Alive movie, so that seemed right about on par.
I mean, talk about being true to your source material.
Of the two movies, this is the one that evokes the game far more.
That I agree with that.
I would go so far as to say that this is the most flawless interpretation of a game that you will find in any movie.
That is high. That is high praise.
No. I'm not saying it's a great movie. I'm saying there is no other game on film that is as true to its source material as this one.
Silent Hill 1?
Not at all.
Nor have we watched the Dungeon Siege tale yet.
Really?
What? Why did I agree to do this segment? Damn it!
Hey, we're gonna go through UA Bowl's whole catalog.
Oh, good. One day, eventually, we'll scrape the bottom of the barrel and have to watch a good movie.
Like what?
What?
Silent Hill 1. Look, that's the only one I have. Okay, I'm hanging on to it.
Yeah. See, I enjoyed pieces of that movie, and there were little sparks that feel the same way about it as I do about Resident Evil.
Well, that's on the list too.
Yeah, there are little pieces that are right, but the vast majority of it is so wrong.
Resident Evil 1 is also a good movie.
No, it was not.
So is Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is also on the list.
Tomb Raider 1 is not a bad movie.
No, it's not.
This movie was terrible. I'm sorry, Aaron. I'm sorry.
It was terrible. Okay, so this is the thing, right? It's terrible. There's no denying that it's terrible. But you can't talk about it without laughing.
Exactly.
I highly recommend that everybody watch this movie.
Definitely. Everyone should watch this movie.
No different from what I said about Super Mario Brothers.
And this movie, much like Super Mario Brothers, because we have fabulous taste in movies for the segment, is also available for free right now on YouTube, and we'll put the link in the show notes. All right, final thoughts on Dead or Alive. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
It's so fun. It is laughably terrible.
You have to know what you're getting into. Hopefully we have given you a brief insight into what you're getting into, and it is something glorious.
I am already looking forward to what treasures will be in our next movie. But if you have a suggestion or you would like to agree or disagree with what we had to say about DOA, you can call us 347.
Also remember, Liore is allergic to fun.
Man! 347-565-4673 or 347-56-LIORE. You can tweet us at Liores, Liores, or email us at podcast@lioreblog.com. Okay, Ellie, what else have you been playing this last week aside from Defiance?
I played Borderlands too. No, seriously. So, Borderlands.
You can't see me, but I'm just like shaking my head and waving my hands.
Borderlands got its DLC patch, whatever, that upped its level cap and added a third playthrough. And the third playthrough is one that appears to be almost impossible to do solo. I'm sure somebody will disprove that soon, but right now, I don't know. I mean, it's fun again, and I have friends who are playing it, so I'm playing it, although not that much. I also played some iOS games. Do you want to hear about those?
Yeah.
I got this tip from a podcast, Tested.com podcast that I listened to. They said that the game Pwn is very fun. Yes, that's Pwn, like PWN. It's like a sort of action territory conquer game where you are a hacker trying to fight against other hackers. It's pretty fun. I would recommend it. It might have cost $1. I don't remember.
I will say, you mentioned iOS games, and we should get a little plug in here. Currently in Commonwealth countries and soon in America, look up Flower Pot on iTunes.
What the fuck is a Commonwealth country?
Good Lord, people, get an education with the Queen's English. Anyway, there is a free game on iOS called Flower Pot. It is made by a friend of ours and a friend of the podcast, Mangle. So if you're looking for a new, pleasant game, check it out. And we'll have him on the podcast soon to talk about it.
He has been a guest on the podcast before.
He has. And he will be again. All right, Arrow, what else have you been playing?
I have been playing a crap ton of Saints Row 3 because my kid thinks it's the best game ever.
Well, it is pretty good. She has good taste.
How old is your kid?
She'll be 3 in September.
Best kid ever.
Yeah. You missed yesterday when I had to mention on Twitter that she was driving around in a car, running into things, going, oh shit, oh shit.
Did you give her the dildo weapon yet?
She doesn't use a weapon. She mostly just runs around. She refers to the character as Dude, and she wants Dude to flip cars, set things on fire, and jump in the water.
Sounds about like what I want her to do, too.
She'll run all over the city to jump Dude in the water. That is her favorite thing. And who am I to deny her jumping Dude into the water?
Yeah, it's hard to say that is much different from how I play those kinds of games.
I think I saw on Steam too, Era, that you've been doing a lot of the achievements and stuff in Saints Row.
Yes, because she likes to watch people run around and help with the run around. So we will steer her and pick up collectibles on the way.
You know, of all the games I think about when it comes to family fun time, Saints Row was initially low on my list.
1 out of 1 moms agree. Saints Row 3.
Pretty cool. Have you been playing anything else?
That's about the extent of my playtime. That and Bioshocking when the kid is asleep.
She's definitely not ready for Bioshock. Well, I have mostly been playing Bioshock, unsurprisingly, but I picked up Don't Starve last night, which is still in beta, technically. But it will be coming out soon. And it's got a good deal on Steam. It's like $12 for 2 copies of Don't Starve. So FYI, on the next live podcast, might be giving away a copy of Don't Starve. Played a bit of the demo, the beta, the small one that you can get through the Chrome store, and it looks like a lot of fun. It's kind of a combination of like Diablo and Minecraft.
Those don't seem like 2 great tastes that would taste great together.
I was gifted a copy of Don't Starve also. So I will also talk about it with you next time.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun, and I think I read somewhere that really people, on average, can get up to about 30 in-game days before they starve, so I look forward to working with them.
I actually had heard that starving was one of the least easy ways to die.
It seems really unique. I mean, you do a lot of just sort of rolling around opening up maps and also harvesting everything you can find and putting them together to create new things. And it's a unique spin on the whole Minecraft building concept, which I love. So this should be pretty cool.
And then wolves come and eat you, right?
Right, yeah, and then wolves come and eat you, or you forget to sleep and start having hallucinations, or that kind of thing. But aside from that, it's just been Bioshock. Like I said, about 3/4 of the way through, so I am looking forward to figuring out what happened at the end. One of my friends finished playing it today and just sent me a whole stream of frowny faces, so I have a feeling it will be sad. We played an ad before the show, which you guys haven't heard yet, but there's an ad that's going to be before the show, advertising our live podcast in 2 weeks.
Is that really only 2 weeks from now?
Yes, sir. It is 2 weeks from now. You better start packing. So in 2 weeks, we will be celebrating the first birthday of Cat Context Podcast. It has been an entire year, and we're still doing this. Go fig. We will be live April 20th, Saturday, 2 p.m. PST from Las Vegas. I will be there. Alindra will be there. Perhaps we'll manage to get Arrow calling in. We'll have some other previous guests like Cornhorn and Vajra and Mangle and people who have been on in the past, and we'll also be there. And we'll be on the Twitch TV channel live. So join us in and mock us for being drunk. And we'll put links in the show notes. And
save up some awesome questions.
Okay, I think that's it. Thank you, Arrow and Ellie, for coming on and talking about non-specifics about Bioshock Infinite. That was really hard.
That was a whole lot harder than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I could tell there was a good hour-long podcast on Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah, if we could actually talk about stuff, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think next time we all get together for our normal podcasting, it'll be time we can start rolling out the spoilers. So everyone, if you're listening, finish Bioshock in the next month, okay? Thanks. Well, thank you guys very much. Thank you, listeners, for listening. And it's been a really good year. This has turned out to be a lot more fun than I ever anticipated. And I'm so happy to have Arrow and Ellie here every time doing it with me. And so thanks for listening and making this podcast totally awesome.
God, you're so Canadian.
Hooray.
Okay, we're going now. Good day. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.